Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's class we are going to discuss about one of the important law in a pressure measurement. So that is Pascal's law. The statement of Pascal's law is like this. It states that the pressure or intensity of pressure at any point in a static fluid is equal in all directions. So when a fluid is at rest, whatever the intensity of the pressure exerted on a particular point and whatever the pressure intensity which will be exerted on a different point. So if we take that intensity of the pressure is same everywhere. So that is along all the 3D dimensional direction, that is about x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, whatever the intensity of the pressure is acting on that fluid element will be equal. So that means we can say pressure acting in x direction is equal to the pressure acting in y direction is equal to the pressure acting in z direction. Suppose if the pressure acting in x direction is 10 Newton per meter square, the same magnitude of pressure is going to act in a y direction and z direction. So this is also proved by the Pascals. So let us understood this statement and we'll move towards how we are going to prove this one, how we are going to derive the Pascal's law, that we have a derivation. So let's move in a forward direction. To derive this Pascal's law, so we are going to consider a small wedge type of element. You can see here I have considered a small wedge type of elements in a triangular manner, having the naming as ABC, okay, and you can observe this x direction, y direction and z direction. The pressure acting in a x direction is taken as Px, so which is acting on phase AB. The pressure which is acting in a y direction, so which is taken as Py, and it is acting on a phase AC. The pressure acting in a z direction is taken as Pz, and which is acting on a phase BC. The length of that x direction is taken as dx, length of that y direction is taken as dy, and length of that z direction phase will taken as ds. From that figure we can observe angle ABC is equal to theta. Correct? From the figure we can see angle ABC. So B is consist angle theta. So therefore angle ABC is equal to theta. So next we need to find so what is this pressure acting? So according to the Pascal's law, what is the intensity of the pressure acting at a particular point, that we need to determine, and that we need to compare with the other directional pressure intensity. To do that one, so we need to consider here, so we are going to consider the various types of pressure forces which are acting normal to the surfaces, and also along with that one we need to consider the weight of the fluid element which is acting in a vertical downward direction. So you can see here, so always the fluid weight is acting in a downward direction. So this weight of the fluid is acting in a downward direction. And also here the Pz is somewhat it is inclined. That means you can see the Px is the intensity of the pressure acting in a x direction which is normal to the surface AB, and Py is nothing but intensity of the pressure acting in a y direction normal to the phase AC. So like that the Pz is also normal to the surface BC, and it makes an angle. So it makes some angle because of its surface inclination. Okay, so to solve this one, so whenever it is going to make some inclination, as we seen in the previous problem, that means we are having some angle of inclination. So we need to consider the effect of that angle of inclination, and we need to incur whether it's a sine or cos, depends upon the condition. So let's say this Pz is acting on a phase BC, making an angle some theta to the horizontal direction. When we draw a horizontal line, reference line, it will going to make an angle theta. So whatever the theta inclined, so the theta to which the theta is inclined, so that will be taken as normally what we are going to take it as a cos, because cos is what? Adjacent by hypotenuse. Okay, adjacent is nothing but the side which is consists theta. To the side where the theta is inclined, theta is present, that side is considered as cos, right? So therefore here we are going to name it this as a what? Pz cos theta, and this vertical one more surface we can name it as Pz sin theta. Very simple. So if you observe like this, it's a very simple. Okay, so we are splitting this Pz into two components. One is vertical component, one is horizontal component. So next here, to solve this one, first we need to consider pressure forces, pressure forces which are acting, pressure forces acting normal to the surface, and weight of the fluid element, weight of the fluid element in vertical direction. Okay, so these are the two criteria that we are going to consider while deriving Pascal's law. So first we'll consider what is the pressure forces acting on each phases that we are going to consider. Okay, so first we'll consider the pressure force on phase AB. Pressure force on phase AB we can consider. So here on phase AB, what is the intensity of the pressure acting? The intensity of the pressure acting is Px. But here we are calculating pressure force. So there is a lot of difference between pressure and pressure force. You should be aware. So this is the pressure intensity which is acting on a phase AB. So to consider the pressure force which is acting on AB, we need to multiply area to this pressure, right? So because pressure, we know pressure is nothing but force by area. If you want pressure force, then it is pressure into area that we need to do. To do this one, so we have our intensity of the pressure P, then we need to calculate what is A. A is nothing but, area is nothing but length into width of the element. So for derivation purpose, we are considering the width of the element is 1. So width of the element is 1. So therefore the width of element is unity we are considering. So therefore the pressure force acting on AB can be determined as the pressure which is acting on phase AB, that is Px, into what is area, length into width. Width already we have considered 1, so no need to take this one. And what about length? Length of this phase AB is nothing but dy. It is nothing but dy. So this is the pressure force acting on phase AB. So similarly, what is the pressure force acting on phase AC? In phase AC, what is the pressure acting? Which is Py, intensity of pressure is Py, into length. Length of this phase is dx and width is 1. So like similarly, the pressure force acting on phase BC. So it's the intensity of the pressure is acting Pz, correct? It is Pz into what is the length? ds. ds will be the length of BC. ds into width is 1. So this is about the pressure forces. Next we'll going to see what is the weight of the element. So therefore weight of fluid element is equal to, so what is generally weight? Weight is equal to mass into gravity, mg, right? So now this mg I can replace as density into volume, correct? I can do like this, density into volume. Now our intention is to find out this volume. So what is generally volume? Volume is nothing but what we can say. Volume is area into length, or area into width we can consider. So this length is considered as unity 1. So hence we need to concentrate only on area. So then area, this wedge type we have considered, it's in the form of triangular shape. So therefore the area we can define half into b into h. For rectangle, half into b into h. What is the b? Base AC. And what is height? It is AB. Correct, it is AB into AC. So therefore area is equal to half into what is the length of AC? It is dx. What is the length of AB? It is dy. So therefore the area is dx dy by 2. So therefore I can replace this volume. So it is what? dx dy by 2 into this density into gravity. So this is the weight of the element which is acting. Now we came with all the required quantities. Now our intention is to find out, so what is the intensity of the pressure which is acting in a x direction and in a y direction, like in a z direction, and we need to examine that whether these all the intensity whatever produced in a particular direction is same or not. So that proves of Pascal's law. First we will going to resolve the forces in x direction. So resolving forces in x direction. So while resolving the forces in x direction, whatever the forces are acting in x direction, that I need to consider. So here, what are the forces acting in x direction? So see, this is the x direction, this is the x direction. So that the force which is acting in x direction is this one, because it is acting along the x direction. So whatever the pressure forces which is acting on AB, that we need to consider. What is the pressure force acting in AB? AB is, we are having Px into dy. So write this one, Px into dy. So it is plus, because it's moving towards the right, it is plus. Next, so here this is acting in a vertical direction, that we are not going to consider here. And if you come here, we have a two component, one is horizontal component, one is vertical component. So I mean, come for horizontal component, what will happen? So it will be Pz cos theta. It will be Pz cos theta. Right, this is the intensity of the pressure, Pz cos theta. And also we are having pressure force, right? To have a pressure force, for this one we need to just multiply what? ds, surface, the length. So considering this x direction moment for this Pz pressure, so we're having forces in x direction as Pz cos theta into ds, Pz cos theta into ds. By considering the pressure force, we are having Pz cos theta into ds, pressure into length of that one. So here also Pz sin theta into ds. So these are all the forces we are having. And next, see here, it is moving towards left direction. So that is, it's moving towards left direction. Hence, we are taking it as a negative one. So therefore, put the negative sign here, negative here. Then what is the force which is acting? So which is acting is Pz cos theta into ds. Pz cos theta into ds. So is equal to 0. So summation of all the forces, it's that's we are taking like this. Summation of force x acting is 0. So this is equilibrium condition that we are doing here, resolving these forces. Okay. So now it is very important to simplify this one. It's very important to simplify this one. Now I'll be taking the triangle ABC. Triangle ABC. So since we are considering the wedge type of element, consider a triangle ABC. From that ABC, what is cos theta, what is sin theta, that we need to do. So what is cos theta? Cos theta is nothing but, what is cos theta by definition? It is nothing but, it is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. It is adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So therefore, what is adjacent side? Adjacent side is AB, hypotenuse side is BC. What is the length of AB? dy. What is length of BC? ds. So therefore, what is Ps cos theta? It is dy from this one. So similarly, sin theta. Sin theta is equal to opposite by hypotenuse. Opposite side is AC, hypotenuse BC. AC length is dx, BC length is ds. So therefore, ds sin theta is equal to dx. These two are the required things for us to carry out the derivation. Now here we are having Px dy minus this Pz I am going to written as it is. Now in place of cos theta ds, I can write it as a dy, correct? So because ds cos theta or cos theta ds both are same, so in place of that one we are going to write dy is equal to 0. Now take that one, Px dy is equal to, so take towards that side, it becomes plus Pz dy. Now we can nullify the term dy at both sides, then we left with Px is equal to Pz. So this says intensity of the pressure in x direction is equal to the intensity of the pressure which is present in z direction. So this one we have proved. So likewise we are going to consider one more direction, that is y direction. Let us resolve these forces in a vertical direction. So resolving forces in y direction, that is summation of f pi is equal to 0. Now let's see this diagram. So what are the forces which is acting in y direction? So this force, it is acting in y direction, that is Py. Intensity of the pressure which is acting is Py, and it is acting on a phase AB. Okay, so therefore this is a pressure. Then what is the intensity of the pressure force acting on a phase AC? So that is Py into dx. So right here Py into dx, and it is acting in a upward direction, it is plus. Next, coming towards here, we have a vertical component of this one. It is Pz sin theta ds, and it is acting in downward direction, so we are taking it as negative. So minus pz sine theta ds equating to 0. So this one I'm writing py dx as it is, minus pz also as it is. Now we have from triangle ds sine theta can be written as dx. So that's I'm replacing over here. It is dx is equal to 0. So therefore it is py dx. So shifting this towards that side, pz dx. So now I'm cancelling the dx term. So then it is py is equal to pz. Now by considering this equation, one and two. Okay, and also you can observe here. So here we have one more term, that is the weight. So the weight of that fluid element. The weight of that fluid element which is acting in a downward direction. You can say it which is acting in downward direction, right? So that weight of the fluid element also need to be considered over here. So that weight of the element also need to be considered over here. That is here considering weight of fluid. Here we can do the same thing, py dx minus pz sine theta ds minus what is the weight of the fluid element that we have derived as dx dy by 2 into rho g is equal to 0. Since the element what we have considered, its weight is very small, so we are just neglecting this one. And hence we are carrying out the derivation by considering these two terms itself. Okay, by considering these two terms we are carrying out and we are getting py is equal to pz. So this is about derivation. So by seeing this 1 and 2, we can say that the pressure force which is acting, the pressure intensity which is acting in a x direction and y direction and z direction, so both are same, hence we can write px is equal to py is equal to pz. So this is the final statement or expression we can write for a Pascal's law. So this is how we are going to prove the Pascal's law, and it states that the pressure intensity or intensity of the pressure which is acting at a particular point for a static fluid is equal in all directions. So this is about Pascal's law. So thank you for watching this one. So hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss about one more concept in pressure and its measurement. So that is pressure variation in a fluid at rest, or it is called as hydrostatic law. How the pressure is going to vary when we move in a downward direction. So that will be given by the particular law that is called as hydrostatic law. According to this law, the rate of pressure or the rate of increase of pressure in a vertically downward direction, it must be equal to the specific weight of the fluid at that point. So whatever the increment or decrement, whatever the variation of the pressure is going to taking place inside the inside a fluid, so when we move in a vertical downward direction, so that rate of pressure difference, that rate of pressure increased, so will be is equal to the specific weight of that fluid at that particular point. So this is said by hydrostatic law, and we need to prove that the change of pressure is equal to the specific weight of that element. We need to see whether this change of pressure is equal to the specific weight or not. So then it proves a hydrostatic law. So we know that as we move in a deep direction, downward directions in any container or any any system, so which contains some fluid, the pressure is going to increases. Also we are going to get some effect called as buoyancy effect. The pressure is going to increases. Okay, so that pressure variation we need to take consideration. So while taking, so what amount of pressure is going to vary? At the top surface the pressure is acting is different, so at the downward direction the pressure is acting is going to vary as we move in a downward direction. So that variation of the pressure we need to consider, and that variations of that pressure measurement will be given by the hydrostatic law. Now we are going to prove this hydrostatic law, so whether this variation of pressure is equal to specific weight or not. Now to derive this hydrostatic law, so we have considered one fluid system. So that system contains a fluid. Okay, in that we have considered a small fluid element which is having a area, elemental area as dA, small dA, and which is having a weight. the fluid having weight called as W, and this fluid which is located at a distance, so Z from the topmost layer of the fluid element what we have considered, which will be at a distance at Z from the free surface, and that overall that length of that element, the length of that small element of fluid element, we have considered it as a dz, and we have named that fluid element as ABCD. So here we can came across the downward direction we have taken in terms of Z, the downward direction we have taken in terms of Z. So here we are going to find out whether this rate of increase of pressure which is in a vertically downward direction is equal to specific weight or not. Okay. First we will going to find the definition of a specific weight. So we have studied the specific weight as a property of fluid. It is nothing but what? It is a ratio of volume, it's a ratio of weight of fluid to the volume of fluid. Weight of fluid to the volume of fluid. This weight we can write as mass into gravity. This volume we can write V. And also this mass by volume we can write as density, and this G as it is. So therefore the specific weight is rho G. Finally it is rho G, density into acceleration due to gravity. Now we are going to consider what are all the different types of pressures which are acting on a fluid elemental area. Okay, what are the different types of pressure forces which are acting in a fluid elemental area? So therefore the pressure forces are, first one, the pressure force which is acting on phase AB. Pressure force which is acting on phase AB. So let the pressure force which is acting on phase AB as P1. That is the intensity of the pressure. So hence the pressure force is nothing but pressure into area. So therefore the area we have considered for this small element is dA. So just multiply dA to this one. So this is the pressure force which is acting on phase AB. So therefore it is P1 into dA. And next second one is pressure force on DC. So we'll have one more pressure force which is acting on DC. Let the pressure which is acting on DC will take as a P2, and the pressure force which is acting on phase DC is just multiply area, P2 into dA. So therefore the pressure force on DC is P2 into dA. So that is one more. And the next one is weight of the fluid element. Weight of the fluid element, that is we have calculated it as what? It is density into gravity, rho into G. This is what we have calculated. Weight of the fluid element. Okay, so it is a density into gravity, also it is volume. Correct. So because what? The weight is nothing but mass into gravity. Mass can be written as density into volume into G. So this is what we have calculated weight, and volume here we can calculate very easily. So volume is nothing but what? Area into height or area into length. So therefore the rho is as usual, G is as usual, volume we can write, area here is dA, and what is the height of this fluid element? It is dz. Length of the fluid element is dz. So therefore the volume is nothing but dA into dz we can write. So this is the weight of the fluid element which is acting, dA into dz. Okay, so we can write this dA as delta A, anything. Okay, so both are same. Now one more force is there, that is the pressure force which is acting on a phase AD and BC, right? So here also we are getting some pressure forces. It's like this. Here also we are getting some pressure forces. Like this. But the pressure forces which are acting on AD and BC, so these intensity of these pressure forces will be equal in magnitude and will be in opposite direction. Hence these pressures are cancels each other. These pressures are cancelled each other. Hence we are not going to consider that effect. So since they are going to cancel each other, so for equilibrium purpose, they're not going to contribute anything. So therefore that effect we are not going to consider. So anyhow in a statement we are going to state that pressure forces on AD and BC are equal and opposite to each other. Hence it is neglected. We can say it like this. Hence it is neglected. So after taking all these pressure forces, next we need to move towards equilibrium condition. So for equilibrium condition, see here there will be two forces which are acting in downward direction. One is P1 dA, so that is a pressure force which is acting on phase AB, and also the weight of that fluid element which is acting in downward direction. And this pressure force P2 dA on phase DC, it will be acting in upward direction. Okay, so therefore in order to balance these two downward forces, these support forces should be equal in order to keep that element in a particular position. Okay, so therefore for equilibrium condition, we can say the pressure force which is acting on AB plus the weight of that element should be equal to the pressure force which is acting on phase DC. So therefore I am going to write it as P1 dA plus weight of that element. I can write this weight of that element as rho g dA dz is equal to P2 dA. Right, pressure force on phase AB plus weight of that element is equal to pressure force on phase DC. Now here I can take the dA common, that is P1 plus rho g dz dA common is equal to P2 dA. So dA get cancelled. Now we left with rho g dz, and I'm moving this P1 towards that side. It is P2 minus P1. So therefore it is rho g dz. This P2 minus P1 I can write Tp, change in pressure. I can write it as change in pressure. So therefore dP by dz is equal to rho g. So this in turn dP by dz is equal to, what is rho g? Rho g is nothing but specific weight. Correct. So hence from this one we can see that the rate of change of pressure, so in a downward direction, the downward direction we have taken as z direction, so that is moving downward. The rate of change of pressure in a downward direction is equal to the specific weight. So this proves, so this is the statement given by hydrostatic law. So this expression is for hydrostatic law. Hence hydrostatic law states that the rate of increase of pressure in a vertically downward direction must be equal to the specific weight of a fluid at that point. So this is given by hydrostatic law. Now taking this one, so that is what? dP by dz rho g, taking this one and again rearranging this one, taking this one and integrating this equation, above equation. So we are getting that, integrating that above equation, we are getting that integration of dP is equal to what? Integration of rho g dz. We can say like this. So I just taken dz multiplied by and I'm applying the integral sign over here. So integration of dP is equal to integration of rho g dz. So we know that integral is the opposite of a differential term, hence a differential term and integration is going to cancel. Or we can have an integration for this one also. It is P is equal to rho g and have constant. Integration of dz is nothing but 1 into z, that is z. Okay, so from this z we can derive as z is equal to P by rho g. So this expression is called as pressure head. So this pressure head is nothing but what? It is nothing but the vertical distance measured for a pressure acting. So the vertical distance measured for a pressure which is acting. So this is called as pressure head. So this term will came across in terms of Bernoulli's theorem. So in that Bernoulli's theorem also we have this pressure head equation. So how we got this one? It is from this one. So we can do like this and we can get the equation for z. Z is equal to P by rho g, that is pressure head. So this is about hydrostatic law, or a pressure variation of a fluid when it is at rest. So thank you for watching this one.